Welcome to today's training. This is a team training that we do every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and we go into our business model in terms of the different components, how they act independently of each other, and how they all combine for the complete system and model. We also go through things that can help you on the personal and professional development side, learn how to get out of your own way, beat your internal and external competition. Got some great training for you today. Before we go into today's training, what we like to do at the beginning of every new training is just revisit what we did last week. And last week, what we did and what we went through and what we trained on was how top producers open conversations. And you need to master the art of communication in this industry. If you do, some good things will happen for you. If you don't, you will continue to struggle with things like traction, lead generation, booked appointments, consistent cash flow. So stop selling people, start understanding about what they're trying to avoid or what they're trying to get to, and usher in strategy, solutions, and systems. So we're going to go on the backs of that conversation, that training last week, and kind of continue on. And this week, we're doing exactly that. We're going to teach you and train you on selling solutions, strategies, and systems, not products. When you remove the product language, when you remove the product marketing, and remove the product presentations, what you will find is the communication is a lot easier, the attraction is a lot better, and you will fix those deficiencies in terms of lead generation, book meetings, consistent cash flow. And then you can, without the financial stress, you can start working on better ways to build a better business, better model, better experience for your clients. All the things that can help you grow your business in new ways. First thing we want to tackle today is what is the problem with product selling? Well, it puts you in a position where you lower your status. And most agents, unfortunately, in this industry have been told and taught and trained to sell products. Well, that creates several problems. If you are selling products, the prospects are going to want to compare price. They're going to want to shop competitors. Those conversations that you have are not meaningful. They just become transactional, and the agent you becomes replaceable at some point, whether that's upfront or somewhere along the line, short, mid, or long term. So you don't want your conversational to be transactional. You don't want to be replaceable, and you don't want your prospects looking at you as a salesperson with a product that they can go out and compare price and shop competitors. When you lead with a product, the prospect's always going to ask you the product questions. What does it cost? Is it better than what I have currently or what I'm doing? Let me think about it. Side note, guys, let me think about it. All that means is let me stop thinking about it. I'm done with this conversation. I don't want to continue on with it anymore. And they're going to tell you to follow up. They might even give you a day and a time. But as soon as they stop thinking about it, they forget about it completely. They move on with their life and they forget about you. When you lead with a product, remember, what does it cost? Is it better than what I have? You have to overcome those obstacles and objections and rebuttals, and you can preemptively do that if you just construct your brand awareness, your communication, your lead generation, your marketing, your conversation, all around system solutions and strategies and not products. When you switch and when you make that change in your business where you start talking about not products, but strategies, solutions, and systems, prospects start asking different questions. And it's not product questions. These questions that products begin at or prospects begin asking are, how does it work? Hey, do you think that can help my situation? What would that look like for me? What are these questions? These are buying questions. These are meaningful conversation questions that if you can answer in a clear, concise, articulate way and show them how it works, how it can help their situation, or what it would look like for them, then you start creating outcomes. Remember, products are tools, and our products are intertwined or embedded into our solution strategies and systems, but those solutions are outcomes. It's our job to create leads and create outcomes. Through that process, what we're going to find is people that we can help on the client and partner side. The other people will be disqualified. We need to make a shift as an advisor in the way you position yourself. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about right now is how do we make that shift? Well, first of all, you have to talk to yourself. You are not an insurance agent. You are not a product salesperson, and you are not a policy presenter. If you sell yourself on the fact that you are any of these things, then that's going to be something that you go out into the marketplace, and that's what's going to be. That's what people are going to see you as. You don't want to be seen as an insurance agent, a product salesperson, or a policy presenter. What you are and what you need to sell yourself on and what you need to sell other people's on is that you are a problem identifier, you are a financial educator, and you are a strategic advisor. Remember, the products are the tools. We don't want to lead with that. Solutions are the outcomes. Solutions, strategies, and systems create the outcomes. The products just happen to be the tools within there, and we get paid on those products, but we don't want to lead with the product conversation. So you are, once again, a problem identifier, a financial educator, a strategic advisor. When you start to look at yourself as, a strategic advisor, financial educator, a problem identifier, problem solver, what you're going to find is that your job changes. And when your job changes and when you understand how your job changes, it becomes easier to do this business, make money, and teach other people how to do it. Your job becomes to identify problems, show the consequences. Remember, once you've identified a problem, if it's a pain point, you've got to dig in a little bit deeper and show the consequences. It's not enough to just uncover a problem. You have to show the consequences, because once you show them the consequence of remaining where they are, now you can present a solution that shows them how to get away from where they are now and move towards a better outcome. Then you use the products as tools, once again, within the system, the solution, or strategy. How do you view the marketplace landscape? The marketplace reality depends on how you position yourself, how you see it, and how you maneuver through it. It can be a very dry desert landscape, or it can be a lush landscape, and that's going to be, once again, how you position yourself, how you sell yourself, how you present yourself to other people, the communication that you use, and the fact that you are not pushing products, you are creating outcomes through solutions, strategies, and systems. These days, your prospects are overwhelmed. If you go back 25, 30 years, there was newspapers, there were TV, there were radio. That was about it. Now it's coming from all directions. Your prospects are overwhelmed with ads, with products, with opinions. Who has opinions? Everybody does. Who wants to give those opinions? Most everybody. They're overwhelmed with influencers. Influencers is a relative term. What are they influencing? Most of the time, they're influencing on a large scale bad decisions. But nevertheless, those people, if they're good at algorithm, they're good at marketing, they're good at positioning themselves, can get in front of your prospects continuously, and they are surrounded and overwhelmed by financial noise. Your job is to cut through the noise, not with products, but with legitimate strategies, solutions, and systems that can help them avoid a problem or get to a goal or somewhere where they're trying to get to. Most people do not need another product. What they need from you is clarity, structure, strategy, and guidance. They need to understand what matters. They need a plan that actually makes sense, and it makes sense for them on an individual or household basis. They need a path to results, and they need someone they can trust. Remember, the pyramid of influence says once you build that trust, rapport, credibility, then you're just allowing the information to flow from the other side. That information will uncover problems that you have solutions and action steps for. Agents who can provide, systematic framework and clarity, they're going to win trust quickly versus having to be, once again, going back to that product mentality, that product relationship, or that product framework where, the prospect is going to be asking totally different questions. They're really going to be trying to maneuver away from you versus gravitating towards you when you have the clarity, structure, strategy, and guidance that they're looking for. The simple advisory framework. This is all you have to learn. This is all you have to master. And this is all you have to teach other agents to do. And then it's off to the races. You have to learn how to discover, diagnose, design, and deliver. Once again, discover, diagnose, design, and deliver. Agents who provide clarity win trust quickly. When you know what you're talking about, you can present it in a clear, concise, articulate way with next action steps that make sense to the other side. They are going to fall in line, either do what you say or not. If they do what you say, it's a good leading indicator. You're going to have a meaningful conversation, meeting outcome. If they don't fall in line, guess what? You get to protect your time by disqualifying them. So discover, diagnose, design, and deliver. What are we doing in stage one? We got to find something, right? We have to ask questions in the discovery stage to understand their situations. Examples here. What are you currently doing for your financial plan? Then be quiet, let them talk. How confident are you in that strategy? What concerns you most about your current setup? You're trying to gather information to uncover a problem that you have a solution and action step for. So this is the discover stage of discover, diagnose, design, and deliver. Now we move from discover to diagnose. Once we've identified the problems and gaps, we can show them what they cannot see. So examples here is once they've started talking, maybe you've discovered they have too much risk. Maybe you discover they have no protection. Maybe it's high taxes, debt inefficiency, no retirement strategy at all, or no income protection. Notice that if you didn't do a discover with them and you just try to cram something down their throat, they may need it, they may not, but you are presenting a product in that manner versus what you're going to do now. The goal there is in the design, or I'm sorry, after the discover and the diagnose stage, is to show them what they cannot see. So you discover, you diagnose. Notice this is a lot like a therapist or a doctor here, and then we're going to design and deliver. So let's talk about design. The design actually presents the strategy that solves the problem. Notice we didn't talk about a product here. We have a strategy that can solve the person's problem. How do we get here? Because of discovery and the diagnose stage. So the example is our mortgage protection strategy, be your own bank strategy, guaranteed retirement strategy, convert debt to wealth, remove Uncle Sam. If you're talking to somebody and they have a 401k IRA and it's all intertwined with Uncle Sam, it would be a good design point once you've made that notice to remove Uncle Sam. Create that extra leg of the stool, that extra slice of the pie that removes Uncle Sam completely. Once again, these are strategies, solutions, and systems that have products within the framework, but we're not leading with that. We are showing the plan in the design stage, and then we get to, after we discover, after we diagnose, after we design, we get to deliver. What does that mean? Products here, you're delivering the product, right? Are used as tools within the strategy. So the examples here are insurance contracts, retirement vehicles, annuities, protection plans. Think about leading with an insurance contract, leading with an annuity, leading with a retirement vehicle, or leading with a protection plan. When you lead with products, people don't want to talk about that. And if they do want to talk about it, they're going to ask you the product questions versus where you want the conversation to go. The product supports the strategy. The strategy is what we're presenting. The product just happens to be within it. So once again, discover, diagnose, design, deliver. That's all you have to learn and teach other people. And then it's very easy to sort people. Hey, this person doesn't want to be helped. This person does want to be helped. They have the resources to be helped. You're just sorting people. Once you understand your job, it becomes very easy because you're not going in with pre-hidden agendas. You're not closing people on the front end. You're just educating. You're just letting people talk. You're just using the discover, diagnose, design, and deliver framework to create meaningful outcomes. Why systems win over products? Remember, you can be the greatest salesperson in the world. Are you going to really be able to teach other people how to be the greatest salesperson in the world? Probably not. You can teach somebody a system to follow and win from. And that's why when you look at this breakdown, it's very easy to see products are isolated. The product sale is, hey, here's a policy. No thanks, right? Okay, that's the end of that conversation. Versus systems are connected. So when you have systems, you're talking about, income, you're talking about protection, you're talking about investment, retirement, taxes, debt. You're talking about the things that you can usher in solutions, strategies, and systems for. Here's a plan. Here's a plan of action. Here's a blueprint for success versus here's a policy. You can see the difference, and it's very easy to see why if you lead with products, you go down a very lonely road versus setting up a highway-like system where it's all connected, all flowing through, and all going towards meaningful conversations, meetings, and outcomes. When you have a system conversation, it's a lot easier, right? Because, here's how we protect the income. Here's how we eliminate the debt faster. Here's how we build your assets. Here's how we create retirement income. Remember, from The discover and the diagnose stage, we're uncovering stuff. Now we can usher in the systems, the plans, the action plans to get it done. Systems create more trust, they create longer relationships, they create multiple solutions and more referrals. People that I've sold products to don't really have relationships with. People that I've created action plans for, system solution strategies, I talk to them far more. And sometimes they refer people over. Sometimes they've got a question about their plan, but you're creating relationships. This is a people and a relationship business. So when you look at, your financial plan and you have a financial plan to get to retirement, to protect your family, to grow your income, to reduce your taxes, to reduce your debt, one product versus a complete strategy. You can see how just getting in front of them, trying to hard close people on insurance products is a hard and not a very meaningful way to build your business. What you're going to find is when you hard sell people stuff, they don't keep it for long periods of time. They're not going to refer people. They're not going to give you reviews. When you create strategies and create buying decisions, it's a 180-degree opposite. The language shift. This is what we have to make sure that we teach ourselves and that we teach other people. Instead of saying, I sell insurance, say I help families protect their income and eliminate financial risk. Would you like to learn more? Instead of saying, I have a retirement product, do you want it? No. Okay. Say, I help people build predictable retirement income. Would you like to learn more? Instead of saying, hey, I have a policy for that. Do you want it? No. Say, hey, there's a strategy that can solve that problem. Would you like to learn more? So the smallest changes in communication, the smallest changes in your language and verbiage can usher in a whole nother, slew of outcomes that are much more positive than getting in front of people with the old language of I sell, I have a product, I have a policy versus how you help, how you create strategies, how you create systems and strategies and solutions that cover what they want to cover. There's different types of people. There's different types of light bulbs, as you can see in this. You've got to figure out, who you're talking to. There's different ways to build trust, rapport, credibility. A lot of the times what you want to do is you want to get it done online some. So by the time they're speaking to you, they feel like, hey, this person has authority. That's who I should be speaking to. But when you look at your prospects and you look at different types of people, we all have core stuff that we want. We want to feel understood, we want to feel educated, we want to feel guided. Notice who is nobody wants to be sold, right? They want to be understood, educated, and guided. So we stop shopping and they start trusting you, and that's the biggest thing. Once you have their trust, once they feel understood, once you give the education, once you give the guidance, all of this creates faster decisions. It creates better referrals. It creates larger cases and it creates stronger partnerships. So the communication style, the positioning, how you view yourself and how you put yourself into the marketplace and how other people view you is going to make or break your business. The real role of the agent. Do you guys understand your role? It's not to sell people stuff. I mean, that creates the revenue and the income and the growth and the ability to stay in the business and create a lifestyle for you and your family. But agents identify problems. Agents clarify consequences. This is one of the biggest ones that I think a lot of agents gloss over. They don't clarify the consequences. If people don't understand the consequences, it's a lot easier for them to ignore the problem, right? So I identify the problem, we clarify the consequences, we present a solution, and then we guide the decision. And that trust creates, like I said, faster decisions, better referrals, larger cases, and stronger partnerships. So this is the agent challenge. Remember, learning stuff is only half the battle. You have to implement what you learn. If you only learn and never implement, it's not really even like you learned it all in the first place because you have to take what you've learned into implementation. So I want you guys to stop leading with products over the next, week or so, a little bit of time over the next 7 days. Let's get a challenge going. Stop leading. Stop talking about products. Start conversations with problems, outcomes, and strategy. Ask yourself during every conversation, what problem am I solving? Once again, if you are not uncovering a problem, you're not digging enough, or that person should be disqualified. If there is no problem, there is no solution. And if there's no solution, you go back to what we were talking about earlier in the training. You're a product salesman, you're an insurance salesman. You do not want to be that. If you're ushering solutions to problems, you're an educator, you're a consultant, you're a guide. So we're coming up to the end of today's training. Just a closing thought that we want to end today's training on because it's extremely important. When you look at yourself and you look at the interactions you have with other things, when you buy from people, when you interact with and make decisions, buying decisions, and pull out your wallet, your pocketbook, your credit card, your debit card, your checkbook, what are you buying? Well, in our business, what they buy is protection, peace of mind, clarity, confidence, and outcomes. That's it. Products are just the vehicle, guys. The vehicle is just some way you're getting to an end destination. Remember, if I have point A and point B in the GPS, it's mapped out a way to get there. The vehicle just gets me there. If the vehicle is not the whole entirety of it, what am I doing? Why am I traveling to this place? What's going to happen when I get there? The vehicle just gets me there. So what your prospects are going to buy from you is protection, peace of mind, clarity, confidence, and outcomes. Products, once again, are not the vehicle, are just the vehicle. They're not the solution, the strategy, and the system. If there is no problem, there is no solution.